as it's like Jekyll and Hyde here, and that's just the away side because we've got Southampton versus Arsenal. Southampton on the back of getting beat 6 last week, could have been 15. And they're at plus 300 against an Arsenal side who disappointed at home when they cannot afford to disappoint. They're chasing the top 4 as well. And just to boot, they're chasing their most bitter rivals in Spurs. But Arsenal minus 110, under or over 2.5. Minus 115 for just to see 3 goals is decent. Arsenal to score twice is at minus 105. I think we ruled the draw out at plus 275 because Stinch, this is a case of Arsenal need the 3 points. 1 will not do.
Yeah, I think Southampton on the beach.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
Well, we've sort of questioned that the last few weeks. I mean, Chelsea at plus 100 last week. Wow, what a price. I don't think anyone expected them to go and win 6-0, but certainly expected they're the ones that would be taking the game to the opposition, and so it proved. I've said this last week, I've said this countless times. I don't like this Arsenal team. I'm not a particularly massive fan. I understand that facts and figures state that they do a very good job against the teams outside the top 3, but yeah, I just don't like them as a team. I'll question their sort of leadership, I would say.
On the pitch or off the pitch?
Both, really. I'm not a massive Arteta fan, to be honest. I think he's a bit like Frank Lampard. He's been parachuted into a job he perhaps doesn't deserve. He should be cutting his teeth at a lower level. What credentials does he really have? But then
he worked under Pep for 5 years, didn't he?
But not as an actual manager. That ding dong with Aubameyang, like. From a financial perspective, that's a horrendous piece of business to allow him to leave on a free transfer. A guy that cost best part of 50 million and is tearing La Liga. He's tearing the Madrid, the champions elect, to absolute shreds in their own backyard. Yeah. What an asset he would be at this stage of the season. So I just don't like Arsenal as a whole, but it's difficult to know whether Southampton care anymore. I think deep down Hasenhüttl does, but it's just, as you say, I mean, given the fact that there was a bit of voice at the beginning of the season, wasn't there, questioning whether Southampton were a relegation candidate.
Yeah, given
that they've staved that off, maybe they feel like they've achieved their target. So I don't like it, but I think there are arguments you could say that this Arsenal minus 110 is a bet on the basis that Southampton aren't interested.
No, Marco here, it's got to be Arsenal, nothing. Walk away, leave it. Because I tell you what, if Spurs win, which you expect they do, because they've got a home game against a side that probably think they've done enough, then they become 6 points behind, and all of a sudden the top 4 is in trouble. So Arsenal have got to show their mettle. And to be fair, Arsenal have shown mettle on the road in previous weeks. Surely they go and win this game, and at minus 110, it's a bet.
Do you know what? I had this as a really easy pass. I said I regretted being involved in the Arsenal match last weekend because of the injury issues. I thought there was enough warning signs to leave it alone. I didn't, paid for it. And, this is an Arsenal team who are really reliant on quite a small group of players now. They've been really consistent in their starting 11s, and just taking 2 key players out causes a lot of issues because Nuno Tavares isn't good enough really to be playing left back. So they started Granit Xhaka at left back against Brighton. And that just creates even more problems because you've already got Partey missing. So you're effectively completely overhauling the midfield, which has arguably been the most important aspect of Arsenal during their best run of the season. So I don't expect Arteta to do the same this weekend. I imagine Tavares will probably come back in and Xhaka will move to midfield. But even still, it's a concern. Lacazette...
Partey's still out, Mark?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. So... That to me is an issue. And Lacazette too, I've no problem with his goal scoring record. I know he hasn't scored in 17, but he has become more of a foil and a link man these days. But he's been a little bit ineffective again recently, and it just feels like it requires a little bit of a refresh. So, Arteta said he was concerned after the Palace defeat. He said very similar after the Brighton defeat. He said they're very sloppy, and this in theory is a really winnable match. But I just wonder, because Southampton was spanked last weekend, does that instigate a reaction from Saints? They might be on the beach, of course, but I just wonder, when a team have been absolutely humiliated on their own patch, do they suddenly sort of try and sort of galvanise the group and say, we need to put something right here? And they get Armando Broja back as well. He was ineligible last week. So I do expect something better from Saints. But yeah, question marks over Arsenal. And, I think if Thomas Partey was available, I'd be very keen. But, compare Arsenal's price this week to what Chelsea were last week. And, it's chalk and cheese, really. So happy pass for me.
Yeah, in the personnel department, I like Arsenal very much like Chelsea, that they've got players that will pass, move. I see this a little bit like, remember we said Watford versus Arsenal. I know it ended up Watford 2, Arsenal 3, but it was like the game was over within the first 25, 30 minutes because Arsenal shifted the ball so quickly. The big thing with Southampton is they rely on their intensity and their work rate as a group. You only need one or two of them because, as remember I used to say about you're only as strong as your weakest link in a chain. Well, Southampton have got 2 or 3 weak links and they got found out very, very quickly because Chelsea shifted the ball. One thing Arsenal can do on their day is shift the ball. So I just think that Arsenal do win this game. And I mean, it's minus 110. I just got to go with because of the want. Southampton is like, they don't need anything. What are they doing? They've got players, yes, they're good professionals. But Arsenal have got one of the biggest. They've got their target still in sight from the start of the season. They were never going to win the Premier League. Champions League was what they missed out on this year, and that was their number one target. Let's have a little look at the official picks. My computer is still, well, it's nearly there. It's nearly there. So by the end of the show, I should be able to say, but I know for sure I need to tell you to put your thumbs up and make sure. Stinch, is there any comments in there why I mentioned that Arsenal and over 1.5 at plus 140 is just delicious?
Not in relation to the Arsenal game, no.
No, what are they just talking mumbo jumbo? Are they? Because I'm away. See, it's like being in a classroom and the teacher just pops out for a couple of minutes, or you get a relief teacher and they all start messing about. I'll be on it in a minute. Don't worry. I'll find out who the culprits are.
Someone said both teams to score. Arsenal evens, just take it. Spurs and Arsenal parlay. His Lacazette anytime goal worth a shot. I think he's due one. So yeah.
Well, you would guess he's due one. He's 17 games without one.
17 games.
And he's due. Who was that? Let me have a little guess. See,
I am
completely blind. Who was it?
James Lines.
Oh, he's new, James. Is he new? Make sure he's subscribed.